Hey, what's up, guys? I got a special episode for you today. I'm going to break down the press conference for the 250 riders. This is an all-time great. I mean, it starts off with Haiden Deegan, and the reason I wanted to do this so bad is Haiden Deegan is not polished yet. He's not like some of the 450 guys. He's not used to having this spotlight on him, so his body language screams, and these are things he'll correct as he gets used to it, but it's so... There was so much to take away from it that was nonverbal that I just loved. First, it started off by you hear Brian Deegan come into that room, and clearly Brian feels that awkward. I don't know what it is about that room or how they set it up or the people around it. It has a crazy, awkward feel to it. So he comes in and you hear him being loud, trying to, maybe he saw something in Hayden or the tension, and he wanted to break that tension, so he does that. Then he makes sure to come over right in the middle and kind of announce his presence. This is Brian Deegan, and sit in direct view of Danger Boy. And it's pretty fun to watch. So let's get into this thing, guys.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So right as this press conference is starting, Brian Deegan he knows where the camera is, and he knows he's going to be on camera, and he steps right in the middle, right where Hayden can see him. But if you notice, while Hunter's doing his intro, Hayden's looking over, kind of side-eyeing Brian, and I'm sure he doesn't know this, and he's going to watch us back and go, dang, but he's rehearsing his lines in his head. Whatever him and Brian have talked about, he's practicing it. Watch his lips move. It's hilarious. He doesn't know he's talking to himself or doing this. And these are things that we all do, but we don't notice it until some asshole like me points it out. So yeah, Hayden's going, like he's literally remembering the lines that were either fed to him or that he wanted to say. He has a narrative in this press conference. And Brian, I suspect, since Brian is right there and he's looking to him as the authority figure, I would guess Brian put this all together. So I like when Danger Boy says, I really wasn't paying attention. He makes the joke, and then a natural instinct is to go like this. What you're doing is that's like a kind of a primordial thing. You protect your vital organs. The tighter you hug, the more uncomfortable you are. You're protecting the world. You're telling people around you not to attack, to go away. I'm protected. And I love when Michael Lindsay asks him about getting back to the hauler. He asks Hayden, if you watch
afterwards,
Nate Thrasher, he
get
bites
back to
his
the
lip.
hauler. Have you got?
Like clearly something went on. Whether I heard there were rumors that Brian got into it with Jordan. I even heard the fist flew. I don't know if that's true. I have no proof whatsoever. But something happened. You look at Nate Thrasher when this happens, you'll see he clearly, when you bite your lip, that means you're hiding something. You want to say something, but you're going to literally bite your lip. When you watch Haiden Deegan, when David Iser is asking him the question, he's constantly looking for confirmation from Brian Deegan about what to say or maybe to go over the lines they rehearsed. I don't believe he came up with that, oh, I guess he was in 5th place on his own. I believe that was something that he was rehearsing and he was practicing to say. And it's just so obvious when he's just looking to Brian. You forget that he's a kid until you see the press conference and you see 2 adults and a kid up there. When he rides the bike, he looks like an adult. He's mature, but you do see he's not polished. He's going to get better at this stuff, but I love reading the body language because I'm not a FBI investigator, but I do know a fair amount about body language, and when somebody's unpolished, it's a lot easier to read their signals. They're like, neon signs instead of like little subtleties. So it's fun to watch Hayden and watch him cross his arms when he says certain stuff and uncross his arms and lean back. But yeah, when he says it, he looks over right at Brian Deegan for confirmation. If you want to know what lines they practiced before the press conference, watch Hayden, and every time he does that eye shift over to Brian, he's rehearsing, he's saying whatever they talked about ahead of time. That's just a blatant, it's just an affirmation that he's looking for from his dad to work on that. As soon as Hunter Lawrence jumps in and starts defending Hayden, watch Hayden's body language go from protective, tight protective, to mirroring. Essentially, he's letting Hunter defend him and agreeing with him, and watch him mirror everything that Hunter does. Just like, oh, yeah. it's just, it's crazy to watch this kid mature in front of our eyes. But Hayden, watch Hayden. He stays tight because he's not sure where Hunter's going with this statement. He waits until Hunter's clearly defending him before he starts mirroring.
How gnarly it was, and then anytime a block pass or something happens now, everyone cries about it. That's just kind of a bit interesting. It's either, pick one. You either want the gnarly block passes from 10 years ago, and then when you get it, everyone makes a big song and dance about it. So that's my perspective. I think it's a bit funny how that works.
I agree.
In addition, it looks like maybe he looks over at Brian, and Brian also gives him the nod of approval, like, yeah, that is what's happening. We agree with Hunter, and it just goes right along with it. It's funny, too, when David Iser tries to explain to both Hunter and Hayden why it's an issue, because it was the heat race. It wasn't a main event. It wasn't points on the line, and try and see if he can find some sort of a common ground with them. And they're having none of it. I mean, they couldn't be more detached and over him and his question. And hey, I commend David Iser for sticking with it. Some journalists say you should ask one question and get out. They're shitty journalists. What you got to do is you follow up and you keep pushing. You don't have to be pushed to the point where people get mad, but you have to dig a little bit on these subjects. You can't just ask one question and take whatever bullcrap answer they give you. Take their answer and then counter it. Like, you build off of it. It's conversationalism. And I'll give David Iser credit. He tried, but these guys were locked up. They weren't given anything after that. They were done.
All right, my question was about teammates in a heat race when it comes to non-points paying and in a championship battle. That's kind of my reaction. If this was in a main event, going for the win, I don't think there'd be this kind of reaction. I guess the big reaction from fans was a surprise of teammates getting to that point, especially for a heat race.
Yeah.
Hunter? Go ahead, Hunter. You
Yeah, I didn't know you were talking to me. Yeah, for sure. But, I don't know. Take what you want. Everyone's.
And then watch when Hunter finally does respond. He leans forward. You see Hayden, because he's clearly taking Hunter's lead and doing what Hunter does, because that's the alpha in the room right there. Hayden will be the alpha soon enough, but right now he's the rookie in his second press conference. I love watching him when he's not polished. When he gets polished up later on, I'll probably skip these, but right now this is just, I love watching this stuff. It's pretty cool, and I love looking at how the behind the scenes plays out within body language, and you see Nate Thrasher, and I like watching Nate Thrasher's reaction to a lot of these questions and what happens at the hauler. And he's pretty tight-lipped. You've got to watch him really close, but you see the lip bite. And then sometimes when he becomes defensive, Nate Thrasher tends to lower his chin.
I don't know. Take what you want. Everyone's easy to point the finger. We're out there making decisions at split millisecond. People have all month to pay their phone bill and they still can't do that on time. So we're making decisions at,
I have to make a comment, really, Hunter, don't, I understand his comparison. People have all month and then they don't pay the phone bill. That's pretty poor taste, in my opinion. Listen, you're up there racing, and yes, Honda, not the series, Honda is bonusing him out large sums of money. A lot of people aren't in that situation, Hunter. It's just poor taste to maybe find something else that people forget to do. Don't talk about their phone bill. Some people don't pay their phone bill because they don't have money, Hunter. It's not that they forget, or it's not that they chose not to. I think that was a poor analogy. I understand where he's going with it, and I don't think he meant any ill will, but you're going to want to rethink that one, my man.
Thanks, Ryan Wissack News. My question's for Nate Thrasher. Nate, you're now second in points. Bad night for Max and for Jordan. How do you take that momentum into the break that you guys got coming up?
I like watching Hayden. Anytime anybody in this press conferences mentions Jordan, Ryan from Cycle News mentioned Jordan Smith. Watch the stress reaction from young Hayden. It can't be contained. So for anyone that thinks that this is done and over, it is not. I promise you, this is going to be an issue for a little bit.
As far as the racing's going, it looks like you sort of managed the start, be fairly cautious in the first corner there, and then just manage the race. And you look like you're really riding within yourself. Would you say that would be the case?
Yeah, for sure. the weeks are tough. Me and Jet go back and forth, and it's good. Iron sharpens iron, and it's cool. We haven't had to step out of my comfort zone too much, which is obviously good. But when I need to, I'm able to. So, I'm stoked on that, and just really happy with the bike.
If you want to know how Thrasher feels about Hunter, he gets that defensive, aggressive posture when the Australian journalist starts talking about how good Hunter's riding. It's really, really subtle because Nate's pretty polished. He keeps it pretty close. He's trying to be a poker player up there. But you watch his chin drop. Just so subtly, his chin drops. That is a defensive, that is an aggressive, that is a let's fight type of gesture. Like when you get mad, you lean down, like that's it. Like cover your chin, like you're going in. That's what Nate does.
Grace put her hand up. Grace from Speed Sport.
Quick question just for Nate. Nate, Hunter kind of weighed in a little bit on the situation with Hayden and Jordan in the heat race. Did you have any comments about that? Do you kind of feel the same way Hunter does about the racing, or was there anything kind of you wanted to say?
Yeah, I don't have any comment.
Even the last question by the lady, she says it, and watch Hayden always confirms with Brian. Always confirms with Brian. He's looking to see what Brian's reaction is because he's learning how he should feel because he's a kid. Like I said, you forget what a kid he is because he rides like such a boss out there, but he's just a kid. So it's pretty cool to watch him learn who he is in front of our eyes. Immediately after the press conference, Hayden went right to his dad, probably to see, hey, how did it go? How did I do? Is that what I want? Is he looking for confirmation? But that's what kids do with their dad. He looks up to him. He understands his dad knows media pretty well. His dad knows how to work a crowd. I will say, if you're going to prep it, don't say I wasn't paying attention. That's classic. That's something that my brother and I used to have a line similar to that. When you took a guy out in a go-kart or you took a guy out on the track, your defense that has no response is, I didn't see him. And they're going to go, you didn't see me? How did you not see me? I don't know, I didn't see you. That's why I cut over, I didn't see you. It's a blatant lie, but usually that's a sense of him saying I wasn't paying attention. He should have just said I didn't see him. Or, you can go with a better line than I wasn't paying attention. He clearly saw him. He clearly was paying attention. And there was nothing wrong with the move, in my opinion. I think it was fine. And I do think David Iser was a bit out of line saying that he took Jordan completely out of the championship. Jordan took Jordan out of the championship. Jordan, yes, was it a bit over the line, the move from Hayden on a teammate in a heat race? Probably. But for him to bomb in there and try and kill Hayden like he did, and for Hayden to cover as tight as he did, that was a good cover by Hayden. Hayden clearly knows how to ride aggressive. He's not a guy that's going to allow anyone to pick on him. That's for damn sure. So he cut over, and Jordan missed that. There's about a 6-inch window where he could have punted Hayden or he high sides. That's that takeout move from the outside that I love so much because everyone looks at the inside guy as the aggressor. But the outside guy can come in, close the door, and if you hit the brakes hard enough, you can send him over the high side. It's a move in supermoto. Supermoto, where you slide on the pavement, it's actually better to take a guy out from the outside in because you're laid over. And that's kind of what those guys were doing there into that flat turn, and that's how Hayden was able to block that. It was brilliant. Love the move. Love the move. I love everything except for the comments in the press conference. I actually kind of like, what can I say? No, I actually love this too. I love the way that he's owning it. And some of the guys were saying, don't do this. You don't want to be the bad guy. No, I love it. Be the bad guy. Because the people that don't like you are going to take this for fuel no matter what you say. And the people that love you are going to love you for more, for embracing it. So good on Hayden. Good on Brian. I wish Brian would get a little bit further out of the camera, coach him, and then let him go do the press conference. That was the second one. So if Brian could just take a step back and not be so obvious in the coaching, let's have a little bit of subtleties. Let's let the kid do a little on his own. Now that's 2 podiums. He's racking them up. He'll be ready to go. But anyway, guys, I want to thank EBC Brakes. EBC Brakes has been with me from the beginning. Coach Rob, Complete Racing Solutions. Check out his programs. They start at $30 a month and go up from there, however serious you want to get. My friends at Epic Garage Designs. And also, Steel City Men's Clinic. Steel City Men's Clinic is an awesome place if you want to check out your physical fitness and take it to the next level, prevent injury, illness. They are good at that. They'll get you supplements, blood work, you name it, they'll do it. So anyway, guys, remember, subscribe. It helps me with the algorithm. And then check out this clip from All Day, Every Day with Cooksey and Gina. It's kind of our lifetime, or like our life podcast we're doing, talking about relationships, how to deal with relationships, how to work on a single budget, just general life stuff. So check that out. And plus, what can I say? Gina's easy to look at. So, all right, guys, have a good day. Thank you. But I don't like posting my relationship status.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well,
yeah.
let me rephrase that. I don't mind doing it when I'm single because I'm just fishing.
Hey, advertisement! Look at me.
Hey, I'm single, so if you're good looking and you're nice and you want to talk to me, I'm available.
So what do? Do you put single or divorced? I feel like there's
There's a stigma to divorce.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm divorced, but right now I'm single.